Yeah, there's plenty of volume here. It's just getting the head, you know, the height is a little bit of an issue. I had to go upstream pretty far.
And you say in the winter it's up to like the bottom of this shelf here then.
The water level?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any sense to really try to lower it. The only sense it would make is to raise your inflow pipe there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll flow up to that height for maybe a month out of the year sometimes. You know, it's like, it's kind of sporadic.
Well, what I was thinking, just looking at this right now, is you could extend that pipe out and put the water wheel right there.
Yeah, and that would eliminate the concrete issue, and yeah, definitely, it would not be that hard.
I mean, for the 1 month of the year that it wouldn't be flowing,
right.
If it would be too high, then you'd have plenty of water anyways. The drag wouldn't matter. Sure.
Yeah, it kind of, when it gets real high, it'll back swirl here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I did it right. I could have the wheel going with the water, actually.
Another option is to... Yeah, I think you could cantilever the wheel maybe over there.
Yeah, I thought of that. I have definitely thought of that. Go with like a heavier axle.
Any flow that you have going through there is going to help the wheel spinning as long as it's still either a breast shot or a back shot wheel.
Sure. Yeah, I have thought of that. I wasn't sure if the axle would be strong enough. But if not, I could just get a stronger axle.
Yeah.
You know. And that one might be sufficient, possibly, to hold it. It's not real heavy, but it's got some weight to it.
Yep. Alright, well, you want to go check out the intake?
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
Put on some waders?
Yeah, I probably should, because I'm going to need to get in the water.
Yeah.
Somebody drove through the driveway and hit one, so that upset the light and remolted a little bit, so I just shut it down until I could get this fixed.
Yeah.
That makes that pipe a lot easier to deal with. And if I stick this in the inlet, it should be high enough to shut off the water to get that clog out. But sometimes I leave the water flowing because that helps clear the debris.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bend is down. Just down a little ways. I had the dam down here originally, and I might move it back. Because if I do move it here, I have enough pipe to run 2 full strings or 4 inches.
Yeah, and if you can get your intake just as high, it just require a little bit more dam.
But yeah. So that's what I'm thinking maybe for next year.
It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of drop between there and here.
There isn't really.
Yeah.
Not much. Maybe half a foot. Not enough it could be overcome with a higher dam for sure.
Right. And then this is your
pipe, right? Yeah, that's the piece that laid in the creek for years and never moved, apparently, because it was still at the original intake for the pond that was here originally.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out of the creek and brought it down here to use as a filter for the inlet. And it was working good until the beaver moved in.
Yeah, and that's when I sent you the link about the
deceiver. I seen that. That was definitely a good idea.
Yeah. Well, we can go up there and clean it out.
Yeah.
I'll go this way.
All right. Might even use this as part of the dam next year.
Yeah. So, hello, Joe, and this is Andy.
Hi.
Andy, you want to tell the viewers where you met me?
So yeah, I was at the bank one day and standing in line waiting and glanced over and happened to see Joe standing there.
Yep.
And, yeah, it was interesting. Thought I recognized him, but I wasn't sure. Sure enough, we got talking. There was someone I had seen before, but I wasn't quite sure where.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of interesting for me, you know, go out into the parking lot, somebody comes up behind you and said, do I know you from somewhere? Yep. So it's kind of really cool that he's the first person that has ever recognized me in real life. And he's local, and he has a water wheel.
Quite a coincidence.
So yeah, that's fate, right? You could almost even put a water wheel right here.
I know. I've thought about doing it. Put multiple all the way down the street.
You want to explain sort of what you have going on here?
Sure. Yeah, it's 4.5-inch aluminum pipe. Just a small dam, maybe 1.5 foot high. Just to build enough height to get the pipe full. Runs downstream about 150 feet. And when it gets down to where the wheel is, there is about approximately 5 foot of drop to the tailwater.
Yeah.
And I'm only utilizing about maybe 3.5 to 4 foot at the moment because of where the wheel is mounted. And so there's a bend in it here, about 1/3 of the way down, that I think is probably plugged up. And we can try to clean that out, see if we can get the water flowing again.
Yeah. So you said you have an elbow to put in here to stop the water so we can clear out the bend, right?
Right.
All right.
Yep. Might have to grab another piece.
Water's too high.
Yeah. So usually I uncouple it right here. And then the 90 is just down at the next joint, about 30 feet down. And anything that's caught there will usually back flush out.
Okay.
So we'll see if that'll work, I guess.
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll back up a little bit.
You might need to.
Don't worry, I'll cut out the embarrassing bits.
Oh, that's good. There we go. Yeah. See how dark it is? There's
I'll silt it in.
Really, this should be flowing more than that too, so
Yeah, it should be.
maybe there's something else going on.
Maybe it's silted in too.
That could be.
Here are the rocks.
Oh yeah.
And that's all the silt.
I see light down there, so I might have just pulled that apart just now, or maybe it was apart.
Yeah, that pipe should be cool.
Yeah, there's something else going on here.
We'll go figure it out.
All right.
Grab that end and just wiggle.
That's the first time that section is plugged up. Normally it's right at the inlet, so it's 90 down here.
Yeah. Oh, it's clear now.
Awesome. It would be nice to shut that off to put it back together, but we can try doing it running. I would like to check this joint first though.
Yeah.
Might as well do that while it's empty.
4 and 1's 3.
Actually, I have enough 4 to do 2.
Okay.
2
So
4-inch.
you do 2 4s and a 3.
Right.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm hoping to do eventually. That's clear. Okay.
Should we go down there and push?
Yeah, if you want. And if you can move it in towards the bank some, that helps too.
on it?
If you can move it towards the bank.
Oh, move it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's in. I might need to throw a brick under the pipe here.
Yeah.
Oh. We gotta get up on top of this. There we go. I just gotta shim it back up a little bit maybe. There we go. Right here, the one winter I left it in and it froze.
Right.
And it split. So that's how I repaired it, was with stuff taking it. If we get that up a little bit, it might seal off.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just gonna, I think it's gonna walk out further on us if I go up.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of torque in this shaft, huh?
Yes, there is. Well, it slips there, but
Yeah, if it were faster.
yeah, it's got some torque to it. I did have this belt hooked around just as like a temporary setup.
Yeah.
Around the outside edge of the wheel, going to what I'm hoping to use for a generator. Yeah, I need to remove this beam here because the way it's hanging down, sometimes it catches debris when the stream floods, and it can cause issues. I've had the water go up over this bridge several times, and with stuff being in the way, it catches and builds up quickly. Yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of height there that it's not being
Right.
used.
So he has a bridge that's right here over where the Waterwheel is, and he suspects that, you say there was probably a Waterwheel here before?
No, actually, there was a stone wall almost exactly where the axle of the Waterwheel is now, and that was full of dirt and had like rhododendrons and whatnot growing in it.
Uh-huh.
And so I hand chiseled that stone wall out in the hole for the pipe and put the wheel in.
Yeah. Your water course here is not necessarily where it should be. Just coming out.
Yeah, that something needs to be done with that, definitely. It's basically just draining out underneath the corner of the foundation of the bridge. And I'd like to run a pipe and concrete it in, cement it in.
Yeah.
Stop any further erosion. Seems to be okay so far, but I'm not sure what would happen over the course of years. May have some work here too. Thought about leaving an opening for whatever finished water trough or flume I have.
Yeah, there are options, I'm sure you know this, that are like not necessarily a Waterwheel that would work for you too. The only one I can really think of right now is something called a cross-flow turbine.
Oh yeah, what's that?
You know those fans that are like a tower and it has a spinning blade in the middle?
Okay.
So it's pushing air through. It's essentially one of those, except you're pushing water through and making the fan blades spin. It's like kind of like a squirrel cage blower type thing, except you're blowing air through from one side through the other. And those are good for basically this.
I've never heard of that type before.
So what you could do is plumb from that down to the turbine that you could build. That could be down as low as you want, almost in the water even, and just rotate it such that the drive shaft comes up out high enough that your motor and electronics are up here, but the turbine is down there. And really, you also have enough flow that you could do something that's like Power Stop makes something that's called a low head hydro, and
Okay.
it's think of it like a jet ski impeller or a jet boat impeller that's got some vanes around it. So you have that at the top of the tube, and that tube is like called like a draft tube or something. So that tube is under suction down to the water here, and so all your impeller and motor and whatever is at this height. So again, that would be probably pretty useful for you, because you can have your tail submerged in the water.
Sure.
And that can work too, especially if you had more flow of the 2 4-inch and the 3-inch pipe.
So the force is being generated from the suction, basically, on that type of a setup.
Right, it's still a difference in head. You just have to make sure that no air gets into it. I see this other big pipe down here.
Yeah, that's actually a dry hydrant. Oh, the steel pipe or?
This steel pipe. I know, I saw what that's for.
Okay.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's like an old sewer line for the area?
Actually, I think that had something to do with the oil and gas industry.
Yeah, or oil and gas. Probably a large pipeline going down the hill.
Yep, because that's still visible. A few miles down the road, you can see it along the creek.
Yeah, I do see it. It's down there too, I see it.
Yeah, that runs for a long, long ways.
Yeah. Well, if for whatever reason it sneaks up around the corner, maybe you could tap into it.
I've thought of that, but you can actually see it if we walked up a little ways
to the right.
It's on the right-hand side.
So that wouldn't necessarily work.
Yeah. Really considering trying to build a flume rather than use pipes, because you can fit so much more volume to a flume. And I don't know if they're as restrictive as far as the drop per 100 feet, or the drop per distance. Where with a pipe, I've noticed you lose a lot of volume if you don't keep a drop.
Right.
You know.
And a big problem that you see with this pipe is it's not very debris tolerant.
Yeah.
But a flume is a lot more debris tolerant.
Ideally, that's what I would like to build.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I realize that it's not attached either, so you can move it front and back, but probably if it was moved closer to the pipe too, you can get a little bit more torque out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm anxious to get a generator hooked to it and see what the actual output numbers are and play with the distance and see what it does.
Did you see the video that I put out this morning? It was like mealtime, but there was bonus content.
I started to watch it. I didn't get to finish
at the end of it, I was dyno testing sort of one of the wind blue alternator that I have.
Okay.
And it was making like 20 volts at 500 RPM.
Nice.
So that would probably be something that could be useful here.
Yeah, I could gear that up, I imagine, to that speed. Or pulleys, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could put something together to make it happen.
And then maybe some other improvements that you could do to this. I notice there's a lot of holes in the bottom of the buckets. That's not helpful. And maybe if you had like some lips on the tip of the bucket to hold the water as it went down.
Keep it in longer.
Yeah.
I also thought about adding more buckets, because there's quite a bit of gap between these ones. And when you slow it down, you can see that another bucket would be useful in between the two.
Yeah, more buckets would help.
Those were actually off a conveyor belt for moving sawdust originally. And I think that's why there's holes in them, was to let the air out as the sawdust went in.
Yeah, so it doesn't suction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is like just the right size where you could use one of those big telecom spools.
Oh yeah.
So one of those would
probably work too if you wanted to rebuild it.
Sure.
You might know this, but if you put a turbine in it, not a turbine, if you put an alternator on it, it's going to rotate slower by like half maybe or less.
Okay.
Because a water wheel and a normal turbine, they're not necessarily the same. A turbine at full load will be half the RPM of unloaded. But a water wheel, basically you want it to be 100% torque, and you vary the RPM based on how much water you have.
Okay.
So if there's less water, you rotate it at slower RPM, so you have full buckets.
As you're coming down to get the full torque out of it. That makes sense. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely potential for more volume. I mean, I'm only pulling a very small fraction of the water out of the stream. Parts of the year it gets down pretty low, but most of the year there's a lot more volume that could be used than what I'm using now.
Right. And we just had some rain, but it's been fairly dry, and this creek is flowing pretty healthy, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably about the average flow. Other than 1 or 2 months in the summer, it does go down quite a bit.
Probably be pretty expensive to build another proper bridge across here.
Yeah, I've thought about shoring this up with steel, I-beams, and I've kicked around a lot of ideas. I'm not really sure what way I'm going to go with it yet.
I mean, you could probably build another bridge on top of this one, so it's higher up, and then demo this.
Yeah.
And nobody would ever be the wiser.
Sure.
Except for it being on video right now.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's probably something to look into.
You could even build it as like a covered bridge.
Yeah, that would be neat. I
That'd
thought
be very
about
neat.
adding a drawbridge to the end of it.
Yeah.
Just as, you know, because I have the flume going through, so I need some type of a grade or, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm thinking if you had a covered bridge and a water wheel, that'd be really cool.
Sure.
And then maybe plant a whole lot of trees to block sound along the road.
Yeah.
It is a little bit close to the road here.
Yeah. Yeah, in the summertime it fills in a little bit better than it is now, but some more would be nice.
Well, I was just thinking about the penstock there. Not pen. I mean, I guess it sort of is a penstock. That you could have the pipe is still a viable solution. It'll probably get you enough to have power to play with. And you just focus on filtering it up at the top.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of different filters that are like self-cleaning, or you could even build an automated filter that rakes debris out on its own. Just as an option.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I need to look into, is some type of filter on the inlet. Right now there's nothing stopping debris from coming in. That silt there, that was the first time that's happened. Normally it's leaves and sticks and that type of debris. That's the first time I've had it actually silt up that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if that pipe I have up there would work now that the beaver's gone. Is maybe like a first stage to an inlet filter.
Yeah, it might be.
Could try it and see, I guess. I'll have to build some type of an adapter to hook it to. It's quite a bit larger diameter than this pipe.
Right. Well, that wouldn't be too hard. I don't think. You could even build an adapter out of concrete. You just set the 3 pipes in one end and 1 pipe in the other, and build a concrete box. And then in that concrete box, you could have an additional finer filter.
Sure.
That could then be manually serviced as needed. Because you live pretty close to it, it'd be pretty easy to service on your own.
Yeah, and I could still run that other string of pipe to get more volume if need be.
Yeah. I mean, I would still do that anyways and move the dam down lower.
Yeah.
To get more volume. If you build the dam just a little bit higher, then you can get nearly the same pressure.
Sure.
Or at this point, it's not even really pressure.
It's gravity, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what this is.
What do you mean?
Well, it's not like you're really pressurizing the pipe.
Oh yeah,
It's just flowing through.
the gravity flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will flow more water than that when the creek rises and the inlet is underwater further. It will fill up further.
Yeah.
Right now it's what, maybe a third to almost a half. I tried to keep the pipe down low, and with that in mind, that if it's lower and then comes back up but not further than the inlet, it'll still flow full.
So another problem that you might be experiencing right now, and I think we should walk the pipe and just verify, if there's any spot of the pipe that goes up, you're going to have an air pocket there. And that'll limit the amount of water that can flow through, because it's like the water's trying to flow over a ridge in the pipe.
Sure.
And it's not necessarily going to be full.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be happening.
Yeah, right here I can see down right there it's low, and then it rises up here.
Oh yeah.
So that would probably be enough to really affect your flow. So maybe if we went down there and just jack that up some, it would increase the flow right now. His dam is on this side, and then this side just along the road. So it's actually a confluence of two creeks right here, but he's only accessible to the left one.
Well, once all the foliage and weeds die off, I thought about coming out with a laser level and just shooting it to see how far off it is.
You don't even need a laser level, I don't think. You could do it with a 4-foot level.
Yeah.
And if you have a level, why not just look at it now?
I do have one. I do have a 4-foot level. I know right where it's at.
All right, let's get to it then.
All right.
This video is getting longer and longer. Yeah, that's it. So I think maybe if we stick this up here, and then I can just lift.
We're trying to go up here with it, right?
Anywhere in there that looks stable.
I can try to get right in here. Maybe there was.
And typically they would put water wheels near bridges, or build bridges near water wheels.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that
Very well could be then.
pretty good there. I mean, most water wheel I've ever seen was right next to a bridge, so you could access it from both sides.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, we just have to.
I'm on the tape there still, so.
I think we still need to raise up the right side some.
Yeah.
It's better.
This one work? I almost need to put something there too.
Yep. Just like that. All right. Up at the dam, he has a 90 that he's taking out. The 90 just brings the end of the pipe above the water. And we just re-leveled the pipe for a large portion of it. So we'll see if this increases the flow. Hopefully we'll get a full pipe. Yeah, you might just have to come out with a laser and laser level it.
See where it's
Yeah.
high and where it's low.
You know, what else would help is probably taping up any of the leaking joints, because those allow air into the system too.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if there was a sealed pipe, then you would have, I imagine you could have like a full wall of water gushing down the pipe instead of now air leaks in and then the water kind of settles out.
Yeah, it makes sense. And there are at least one, maybe two places where it's leaking quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's the end of a wire spool.
Yeah.
That black piece, I was going to try to make it for like a flat pulley or a flat belt. But I think now it'd be better to go with at least like a V belt.
Right.
It'll track easier, so I won't need guides as much. For
Right.
a V
Flat belts also slip a lot when it's wet.
Sure.
Or I think, like you said, you could do a sandwich of PVC with like a bevel on the inside to make your belt track or pulley.
PVC or
Sorry, plywood.
Yeah.
I meant plywood. Yeah.
Sure. Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Or you could just put something on the shaft.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, in by the wheel, there's quite a bit of room for a pulley. Out here, the ground's only a foot, less than a foot down from the axle. But
Right.
I had, when I did have it just rigged up, I had the generator sitting about here, and just the belt running right between the wood and the paddles. And it actually worked. Just having it rest right in here.
Yeah.
And I had it on the axle of the generator.
Go ahead. Turn it on.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
So you had that watering your garden, huh?
Yeah. Actually right out here at one point in time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 1.5 inches then, huh?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good size one.
Yeah, it works pretty well. It definitely put out a lot of pressure. Not a really high volume, but a good pressure.
Yeah. It's almost like you would need more volume than pressure for watering a garden, though.
Yeah.
Unless you had it hooked up to a sprinkler.
Yeah, what I would do is I would have a 55-gallon drum that I would fill up and then use that to water the garden. So this would run 24/7 or until it plugged off, or
Yeah.
and then I'd have a drum full of water to use when I needed it. And that worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had a need at my current place to build one. Just, I have basically the water enters my property at the top.
Sure. So yeah.
So it's not useful for me. But maybe at my aunt's house I could build one. She has a bunch of springs that are below her house, and all of her barn is above the spring. So I could build a ram pump at her house to, pump water up to a storage tank way up in the hill, and then have pressurized water down to the barn.
Yeah, that would
all
be
year.
nice.
Because right now she has to pump all of her spring water up out of a catchment tank.
Okay.
So she actually has spring water at her house as her main source of water. And of course the bank made her put in a well too, because they can't finance a house without a well.
Oh.
Or like a approved source of water. A spring is not an approved source of water.
Really?
Yeah. Which is true, because during the spring she has had to run her house off the well when the spring dries up.
Sure.
But most of the time the spring runs all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that worked well. I plan on using it again.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. This is a different type of check valve, where this is just a flapper valve. This
Right.
one's spring loaded in here.
Is it a spring loaded like ball check valve?
I think it's a tapered tip.
Oh yeah, like a cone
Yeah.
or a needle valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I would adjust this. It probably won't move now because I haven't used it in a year or so. But this would swivel pretty easily before, to where sometimes if you didn't have enough or fast enough flow, it wouldn't flip the valve without the valve already being partially hanging ready to close, I guess. So by adjusting that, I could get it to work with even lower head than what they say is required for a ram pump.
Really? I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was getting enough extra velocity from that flow in the pipe to swing the check valve.
Yeah.
Or maybe your check valve was just too big for your supply of water or your height. Because I know a big check valve requires a lot of water.
Yes.
And regardless of what you do, they have to have sufficient head to begin working in the first place.
Right.
I forget what it is, like maybe 5 feet.
Mine I ran on about 3 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, we can see on his pipe there's water coming out of the top, so we're not getting an airlock. And I'm pretty sure the pipe is actually full of water now, so that's good. And we get a little bit of a whirlpool there. You can see right in the middle. See the whirlpool? All right, so this is Joe and Jason and Andy. Hope you had a fun time looking at his project in progress. And I'll probably be over here as many times as he wants me over, helping out, because there's a lot of work to be done here. And he'll probably be over at my house helping some too. So keep an eye out for those videos. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them. And I guess that's it. You can support me on Patreon and Amazon and PayPal, and there's links below. Also, hit that like button and leave a comment. And I guess we'll see you guys later. Bye.